Hello and welcome to Express News with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you 100 news and updates from the country and the world in 30 minutes. Let's begin. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh visited Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday to review operational preparedness and developments in the wake of Operation Sindoor, launched on the 7th of May. The Defence Minister also met and interacted with the army soldiers and commended them for success of Operation Sindoor. Addressing soldiers of the Indian Army at Badami Bagh cantonment in Srinagar, Rajnath Singh questioned Pakistan's ability to handle nuclear weapons and urged International Atomic Energy Agency to take supervision of the weapons. Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu Kinjarapu visited Srinagar Airport and reviewed ongoing developmental work. He announced that flight operations from Srinagar have now been fully restored to pre-incident levels from Thursday. Minister Naidu also took a walk through Lal Chowk's Polo View Market and interacted with local shopkeepers. He assured the community of the government's unwavering commitment under Prime Minister Narendra Modi to restore normalcy and boost tourism in the region. Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi visited the Dagger Division under Chinar Corps on Thursday. He praised the Indian Army troops for their exemplary performance during Operation Sindoor. The Indian Army's Romeo force is going door-to-door in areas of Poonch district near the line of control, which were heavily impacted due to shelling by Pakistani, to provide locals with medicines and ration. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists were killed in an encounter with security forces in Nader area of Pulwama's Tral. The encounter under Operation Nader broke out on Thursday morning between security forces and terrorists in Tral after receiving specific inputs about suspicious movements. An Indian technical team is in New York engaging with key UN bodies to designate the Resistance Front or TRF, a front for the Lashkar-e-Taiba, as a UN-listed terror outfit for its alleged involvement in carrying out the Pahalgam attack. The Indian Army successfully conducted a large-scale military drill known as Exercise Teesta Prahar, showcasing joint combat synergy and readiness in challenging riverine terrain. As part of the 11-day-long Tiranga Yatra that began across the country on Tuesday, in Jammu, Tiranga Yatra began from Indra Chowk and concluded at the Press Club, drawing thousands of enthusiastic participants. In Rajasthan's capital, Jaipur, Chief Minister Bhajan Lal Sharma flagged off Tiranga Yatra from Jaipur's Albert Hall. A massive crowd emerged to participate in the Yatra to pay homage to the valor of the army. In Uttar Pradesh's Varanasi, various voluntary organizations along with locals participated in Tiranga Yatra to honor the bravery of the armed forces and celebrate Operation Sindoor. In resolve of a Naxal-free India, the security forces have killed 31 Naxalites or left-wing extremists in the biggest ever 21-day operation against Naxalism on the Karagatalu hill at the Chhattisgarh-Telangana border. Home Minister Amit Shah visited AIIMS Trauma Centre in New Delhi on Thursday and checked on the health of the security personnel injured in the biggest ever operation against Naxalism carried out in Karagatalu Hill across the Chhattisgarh and Telangana border. India has revoked the security clearance of Turkish firm Celebi Aviation that handles ground and cargo operations at 9 major airports. The decision follows Turkey's vocal support for Pakistan after India's Operation Sindoor, launched in response to the deadly Pahalgam terror attack. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a meeting on ways to further strengthen the fisheries sector in India. Ways to improve exports and increase the focus on deep-sea fishing were also discussed. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Honduras counterpart Enrique Reina on Thursday jointly inaugurated the Embassy of Honduras in New Delhi. The two leaders also held discussions on cooperation as Global South partners, including possibilities in health, digital, capacity development, energy and disaster response. Speaking after the inauguration, Dr. S. Jaishankar appreciated Honduras' support to India on Operation Sindoor. Amidst India and the US trade negotiations, External Affairs Minister asserted that no one country can take unilateral decision. Speaking on the Kashmir issue, Dr. S. Jaishankar reiterated that India and Pakistan will only talk if they are ready to discuss terrorism and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. In a firm rebuttal to the Supreme Court's April 8th verdict that imposed deadlines on the governor and the president for deciding on state bills in Tamil Nadu government versus governor case, President Draupadi Murmu has questioned the validity of such a ruling, emphasizing that the constitution does not prescribe any such time frames. Indian equity indices ended on a strong note with Nifty above 25,000, closing at 25,109.35 points on Thursday. Sensex was up by 1,200 points and closed at 82,530.74 points. Indian rupee fell 27 paise to 85.55 against the US dollar at closing on Thursday. Gold futures maturing on the 5th of June were priced at 91,980 on multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for the 4th of July maturity stood at 94,864 rupees per kilogram on multi-commodity exchange. India's government approved 187 startups for a 100% income tax exemption on profits for 3 consecutive years within a decade from incorporation, with an aim to boost entrepreneurial growth. Crude oil price tipped by 4% and traded at $63.52 per barrel on Thursday. The UK's economy grew by more than expected in the first 3 months of the year, according to the Office for National Statistics. The economy expanded by 0.7% in the January to March period. The Eurozone economy grew by 0.3% in Q1 of the current year, slightly below the previously estimated 0.4%, according to revised data from European Union's official statistics agency. South Korea has fined Chinese e-commerce giant Temu nearly $1 million for illegally transferring Korean users' personal information to China and other countries. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Turkey and held talks with President Tayyip Erdogan to discuss peace efforts in Russia-Ukraine conflict. The first direct negotiations between Russia and Ukraine will take place in Istanbul on Thursday. NATO foreign ministers gather in Turkey's Antalya on Thursday for a 2-day informal meeting to discuss ending the Russia-Ukraine conflict. In a meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said there was no military solution to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Rubio called for an enduring and lasting peace to the conflict. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said there was a new window of opportunity to achieve peace between Ukraine and Russia, adding that he hoped planning talks between the sides in Istanbul would open a new chapter. Germany's new Foreign Minister John Wadephul on Thursday backed US President Donald Trump's demand to more than double NATO's defense spending target to 5% of GDP. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that Russian President Vladimir Putin currently has no plans to travel to Istanbul for peace talks with Ukraine, but the Russian delegation is there and ready to meet the Ukrainian team. US President Donald Trump has indicated that he would go to talks in Turkey on Friday if it was appropriate. US President Donald Trump arrived in the United Arab Emirates on Thursday after visiting Qatar as part of his Gulf tour. He met with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan at the airport. Donald Trump on Thursday said that US is getting very close to a nuclear deal. He said that Iran has sort of agreed to the terms. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said Iran would not bow to any bully in response to Trump's earlier criticism of Tehran during his Gulf tour. Donald Trump announced an aerospace agreement between Qatar Airways and Boeing, claiming that $200 billion deal included the purchase of 160 aircraft. German Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil on Thursday told the Parliament that the European Union must unite in the face of US tariffs and that it is prepared to act if negotiations with Washington yield no result. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with his Albanian counterpart A.D. Rama on Thursday. In a joint press conference, Starmer said he is in talks with countries about setting up return hubs for failed asylum seekers. Trade representatives of 21 Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation member economies gathered in South Korea's Jeju on Thursday to discuss multilateral trade and other cooperation agendas. The Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation warned that regional exports will experience minimal growth this year, primarily due to US tariffs, as trade ministers of the 21 member economies gathered for a two-day annual meeting. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is visiting Indonesia's Jakarta for his first international visit since being re-elected. He met with Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto and discussed defence ties and global trade. 3 people were killed near the northeastern Ukrainian city of Sumy in a Russian missile strike on Wednesday. Emergency personnel were seen fighting fires and removing debris on scene after the attack. At least 21 people died in an accident on Wednesday on a highway connecting Mexico's Oaxaca and Puebla states. The collision occurred when a cement truck attempted to overtake another vehicle before crossing into the opposite lane and hitting a bus, then crashing head-on into a transport van. 2 self-defense forces members went missing after a military training jet crashed into a lake in central Japan. The jet crashed shortly after the unit's T-4 training jet departed from Komaki base. Police used tear gas to clear a roadblock in Panama after days of unrest caused by a pension reform in the Central American country. Protesters blocked the international inter-American road, causing lines of trucks bound for the capital city. Time to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back after that short break to Express News. Let's continue. 3 wildfires, Jenkins Creek, Camp House and Munkey Shore, are reaching across northern Minnesota, with Jenkins Creek expanding to over 20,000 acres. A massive wildfire in central Canada has killed 2 people and displaced nearly 1,000, signaling the start of a potentially severe fire season. Heavy rainfall triggered severe flooding in Western Maryland's Western Port, submerging boats, flooding a firehouse, and forcing the evacuation of over 200 students and staff. Texas is grappling with record-breaking heat, with Austin hitting 99 degrees Fahrenheit on Wednesday, surpassing a 2003 record of 96 degrees. A 70-meter tall ice block equivalent to a 20-story building collapsed from Argentina's Perito Moreno Glacier into the water below, raising concerns among glaciologists about climate change impacts. In sharp contrast, North India continues to suffer under extreme heat conditions, with heat wave conditions likely to prevail between 15th and 18th of May in UP and West Rajasthan. Shillong in northeast Indian state Meghalaya is seeing heavy rain as the southwest monsoon continues. Locals are dealing with wet streets and daily disruption, with more rain expected. Bengaluru experienced rainfall on Thursday, easing the recent heat. Showers led to wet roads and cloudy skies. More rain is also expected in the coming number of days. Telangana's capital Hyderabad received heavy rain in several areas on Thursday, easing dry conditions. The showers lasted for a short duration but left several areas waterlogged. A dust storm hit India's capital Delhi and nearby NCR on Thursday, rising the AQI above 200. Air quality dipped to poor amid dusty skies and low visibility. 16 countries are vying for a spot in the Eurovision Song Contest's second semi-final, culminating in the grand finale at St. Jakob-Schall in Switzerland's Basel. U.S. Naval Academy freshmen completed the annual Herndon Monument climb, scaling a 21-foot greased obelisk in a tradition dating back to 1950. A South African granny pageant in Togosa celebrated senior women with a vibrant catwalk, honoring their beauty and spirit. Huozuo's Park in Fujian, China, are hosting flower viewing events using vibrant floral displays to draw residents for spring outdoor activities. Thousands of lanterns illuminated the night sky at Borobudur Temple in central Java of Indonesia, creating a stunning spectacle during a cultural celebration. Chilean Catholics in Santiago joined a procession for the Christ of May, a revered statue believed to protect against earthquakes since surviving the 1647 quake. Guinea-Bissau's first art biennial, MOAC PIS, opened in Bissau, showcasing global artists and performers in a month-long event until the 31st of May. Black-winged wild stilts attract bird watchers to Kalani Bay on Lesbos, Greece, which is also a hotspot hosting over 330 bird species since 1990s. Vienna Zoo welcomed 2 giant pandas in a ceremonial event featuring a traditional lion dance, delighting visitors and boosting conservation efforts. MIT engineers developed an insect-sized hopping robot for disaster response, capable of navigating tough terrain and carrying heavy payloads. Dutch scientists unveiled a liquid hydrogen-powered boat in The Hague, aiming to pioneer sustainable fuel solutions for the shipping industry. Thailand is building a 120-acre wetland zoo in Pathum Thani, slated to become the world's first dedicated wetland zoo. The initial phase of the project is expected to open in 2028. A team from South Australia has developed a mobile recycling unit that processes plastic waste from oyster farms, aiming to clean estuaries and reduce environmental impact. Thousands of devotees in Tamil Nadu's Talakulam prayed to Lord Kalagahar as his palanquin that began its return to Alagar temple during a vibrant festival. In a remarkable achievement, 65-year-old Prabhavati from Mumbai City achieved 52% in her class 10th board examinations, proving that age is just a number. French director Emilia Ponen's feature film Leave One Day opened the 78th Cannes Film Festival. It marked the first female directorial debut that opened the cinema showcase. Worldwide celebrities including Eva Longoria, Juliette Binoche, Leela Slimani and Rebecca Patricia Armstrong attended the Women of Worth dinner at Cannes to celebrate the emancipation of women. The cast of director Sergei Loznitsa's Two Prosecutors, an in-competition film, walked the red carpet at the 78th edition of Cannes Film Festival. Cast of Mission Impossible 8 walked the red carpet at the 78th edition of Cannes and received a 5-minute standing ovation at its grand premiere. India's Bharat Pavilion was inaugurated at the Cannes Film Festival. It provides an international showcase of Indian cinema from different regions. Academy Award winner Guneet Monga's initiative Women in Film India is making its global debut at the Cannes Film Festival with the launch of a fellowship for producers, including Tilotima Show. Actress Lily Taylor has joined the cast of the upcoming film The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping, an adaptation of the best-selling book by Suzanne Collins. Warner Bros. Released a new trailer for the upcoming Superman. The film is set to release globally on the 11th of July. Singer Rihanna revealed snippets of a new song, Friend of Mine, featuring in the film Smurfs. Her song will be released on the 16th of May after a break of 3 years. Bollywood actor Amir Khan reunites with ace director Rajkumar Hirani for Dada Saheb Phalke biopic after successful hits like PK and 3 Idiots. Australian captain Pat Cummins will rejoin Sunrisers Hyderabad ahead of the IPL's resumption on the 17th of May. Cummins had returned home along with several overseas players after the tournament was paused on the 9th of May. Australian pacer Josh Hazlewood, who was initially expected to miss the rest of the tournament due to a shoulder niggle, is set to rejoin Royal Challengers Bengaluru for the remainder of the IPL season. Former New Zealand pacer Tim Southee has been roped in by the England and Wales Cricket Board as specialist skills consultant for the senior men's side across formats. Curtains came down on the 7th edition of Khelo India Youth Games in the eastern state of Bihar. This edition saw participation from 5,000 athletes and featured 28 sporting disciplines. Maharashtra continued its dominance, topping the medal tally with 158 medals. Haryana finished at the second spot with 117 medals, followed by Rajasthan with 60 medals. India's double Olympic medalist javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra on Tuesday was conferred with the honorary rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the Territorial Army of India. Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen crashed out in the opening round of the Thailand Open on Wednesday. Carlos Alcaraz knocked out British number 1 Jack Draper in straight sets by 6-4, 6-4 to make it to the semi-finals on Wednesday. In women's singles category, Coco Gauff marched into the semi-finals, defeating Mira Andreeva in straight sets by 6-4, 7-6. Madrid Open winner Venus Sabalenka was sent packing in the quarterfinals by Chinese 8th seed Cheng Qinwen by 6-4, 6-3. World number 1 Italian Yannick Sinner met newly elected Pope Leo XIV in Rome on Wednesday. FIFA's president Gianni Infantino on Wednesday said world football's governing body is targeting $1 million revenue for the Women's World Cup. Real Madrid kept their La Liga title hopes alive after a thrilling 2-1 victory over Mallorca. Bologna ended a 51-year wait for a major trophy on Wednesday after winning the Coppa Italia with a 1-0 victory over AC Milan. And Nottingham Forest forward Taiwo Avoni has awoken from an induced coma after having surgery to repair a serious abdominal injury. And with this, it's a wrap here on Express News for now, but news and updates will continue here on DD India. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and updates from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Namaskar.